afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. John Kelly, profiler here, and welcome. Welcome to today's show. Who killed Sunshine? Who got rid of the sunshine? That's Sunshine Stewart. And believe me, she really brought the sunshine. She was 48 years old. She was found murdered in Crawford Pond on or around the 100-acre island in Maine. She was out paddleboarding, trying to enjoy the day. Beautiful person, really, really beautiful person. Had a lot of friends, you know, just really loved life, loved people, worked hard, was adventurous, and has a lot of people that miss her. And I haven't heard one bad thing about her. Everybody loves Sunshine. And they said she brightened up the room and made people laugh and brought a lot of happiness to their lives. There's no question about it. Cause of death, based on authorities, is to be determined, but they are calling it a homicide. So we know somebody killed her. She didn't kill herself. There's no question about it. And that's what we're dealing with right now. The other thing that's really bothering me is who was there, who was out there. This is the thing that goes through my mind because it was a beautiful kind of system, that was really tranquil and serene, and that whole area is just gorgeous, picturesque. And all of a sudden, we got a killer in the area, a predator moved into the area. I don't know if they lived there. It's hard for me to believe that they lived there, maybe, but I am, this is something pretty new, and usually these people, just don't hop right out of the chute and start killing. Usually, there's some history there, right? So anyway, she was a pretty tough girl. She could handle herself. Her friends talked about that, but she also had a heart of gold. And from what people say, she would do anything for anybody. She was also a woman of all trades. With men, we say jack of all trades. Well, this was a woman of all trades. I mean, she could do it all. She was a contractor. She worked as a marine biologist, lobster catcher, boat captain, you name it, she did it. No problem. What I want to do is put our deepest condolences out at this time, to her family and friends. Our deepest sadness for her and her family and friends, because, this was a beautiful woman who helped a lot of people, and it doesn't seem like she had an enemy in the world. And, we're going to look at this and we're going to say, what the heck could be the motive here? Where's the motive coming from? If you like what we're doing, please send us some likes. Please subscribe and shoot us some comments. But hit that like button if you like what we're doing here today. And also, we have a free channel out there for you, John Kelly's Thrive. You don't have to join. There's no membership, nothing like that. Just free education on all types of substance abuse. It's right there at your fingertips if you have any addictive illness going on in your family, or if you yourself are having a problem with substance. It's all there. Believe me, you'll be really well educated. As far as I'm concerned, substance abuse is the worst and biggest serial killer we have in the country right now. All right, John Kelly's Thrive. Now, getting back to Sunshine, I mean, she was just a wonderful person, as I mentioned. I'll bet because of her toughness, she got in some licks. This was a woman who was very loving, very caring, but also was a tough woman. As far as I'm concerned, I could tell that she would not have gone easy. And if she had the opportunity, if she didn't get ambushed, she would have gone in some licks. I wouldn't be surprised if she had some DNA under her fingernails, and that person can be identified sooner than later. That's what I'm hoping on. And that'll be up to the Maine State Police. They're the major players here. Nothing happens without them, and they will get this guy, I have no doubt. We got to look at the motive, though. What was the motive? Why did they kill her? Money? A paddle boarder? How much money do they have on them? So this isn't about money. Not that I can see. I don't know for sure. I mean, it could be, from something earlier, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I see kind of a blitzkrieg kind of thing here, and I'm really concerned about the motive because the motive will tell us everything. I truly believe the motive is sexual, and I'm not going to dance with revenge even because there's too many good people saying too many good things about Sonny. So I'm going to focus on it being a sexual motive. And I have to tell you that when you have a sexual motive and you have a sexual predator, this killer probably has some kind of history of sexual offenses. You don't go from 0 to 100 right off the bat. You don't go from no offenses to murder right off the bat. You evolve. You got to build yourself up to it. So I have to believe that he definitely has some history, and that history can unravel him. That's what we're going to find out. We're going to see if he has a rap sheet. They're going to get him. There's no question about it. And if he doesn't have a rap sheet, he might be known in by his family or in the area as being like a deviant kind of guy. The area may know him. I mean, maybe he has some priors we'll get into. I think there is a cell service also on Crawford Pond, so that should be good enough for geofencing. They could see who was on that island because there's not a lot of people on that island, I don't believe, at any one time. So, they're going to get some phone numbers and be able to trace it back to the people and see who was around Sunny when she was on there. Okay, when she paddled either by there or on there. I'm not clear what the police are saying if it was on the island or right off the island. I think it's on the island. It'll be easy to geofence that. Should be anyway. The other thing is, when I talk about a history, I'm looking for somebody with a history of voyeurism, maybe a peeping tom. Does he have any history of sexual deviant behavior, like grabbing women's undergarments, things like that? Is he a panty thief? I mean, yeah, people out there know this guy. They know who he is. And like I said, you don't go from 0 to 100 right off the bat. It takes time to evolve until becoming a murderer. And is it one person or is it two people, right? We don't know. Is it just one person or is it two? Because most of these guys act out alone, but at least 10% of them work in teams. So, that's something we're going to find out as well. This is a very quiet, lovely, beautiful place. And look at it as a system. Look at it as a really tranquil system, pretty serene. And then all of a sudden, this system is disrupted. It goes into chaos and it goes into murder. Right? That is because a murderous predator, I believe sexual predator, entered that system. Now, with people renting and dropping in and dropping out of there, that gives me, some thoughts about it. Maybe not being a local guy. Could be local, but I don't know. Okay. She was pretty tough and smart. And she was also very caring and a loving person. I wonder if this guy used her care and concern for others against her and pulled a Bundy on her, where he made on he needed help. There was something wrong with him. He was having problems, with his leg or his arm or something, or needed help with his board, you know, and used some kind of weapon to kind of corner her and, take control of her. And that's very possible as well. Could it have been somebody who might have been stalking her? Somebody who had an eye on her, somebody who was watching her. We know these guys are into voyeurism. We know they're into stalking. So that's something I have to add to a sexual predator. As corny as it may seem, there's something to be said about Silence of the Lambs because Dr. Lecter turned around and he said, "You covet what you see. You covet what you see." So, you know, this predator had to see her to covet her, to steal and kill her, because that's what he did. He stole her life. When these guys get the urge, when that sexual urge overcomes them, Fear goes out the window. They don't care. They don't think about fear. They don't think about anything except the sexual conquest. Another concern is who left that area right after the murder. And I'll tell you why. Because even though these guys don't feel fear during the attack, the sexual attack, and finally the murder, guess what? These guys, after the murder, go into a state of extreme fearfulness and paranoia. And then they think about a stage entering, they actually enter into a stage of flight and think about fleeing the scene because the more miles they can put between them and the body, they believe the better off they're going to be. And it's harder, it's going to be harder for the police, to catch up with them because for every mile they put between them, they're putting people and, everybody is a suspect at this point. So that's how they think. And flight can be seen as a sign of guilt. Yes, it can. And that was taught to me by one of the best homicide uh, officers, best homicide detective, one of the best homicide. This has been taught to me by one of the best homicide detectives in the country, Timmy Braun, Sergeant Timmy Braun, retired detective. Okay. And he caught Charles Cullen, him and his partner. All righty. Thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Most importantly, keep an eye out, take care of yourself, and be vigilant of your surroundings at all times. Again, until we talk again, thank you so much. God bless. Have a wonderful day.